Righto, now 12 years ago I had this thing running, but it was running on a different carburetor and the forks were all different too. I had a little leading link, you know, almost like a Indian style of thing, but now I've tried to turn it into a girder, more of a true girder. These plates were made on a water jet cutter and they were parts of 1/2 inch thick alloy aluminium plate, armoured plate for Humvee floors and doors during a rack. You know, stop the poor buggers getting their feet and legs blown off. But anyway, so these are some offcuts. So it's the swing arm. It's offcut from that same 1/2 inch armoured plate, bent with much difficulty. But anyway, so I had some 3-spoke wheels on it, like Japanese 17-inch wheels, but I've changed over to these 16-inch wheels, and with this going to this full girder, you know, like this is a girder, not like an old tubular girder. I mean, you know, whatever, I've got proper girders upstairs, but this is fat as, so it's a bit of a bulldog because she's kind of fat at the front and slims off to the back. But so the rocker arms, they're out a 3/4 inch alloy bar, and then there's spreader bars here and pivots going on and all sorts of silly business. And the suspension is actually one trailer spring cut in half, so I've got half at each end. One end's a bit soft, one end's a bit firm, as you'd expect. The supercharger in there is an Asian. It's a bit hard to see, and I don't know, there seems to be not a lot of good light about. Anyway, that's an Asian 300. You can get 500, but they're all on the little 1 litre and up to 2 litre cars. And this is showing when it was running. She's showing, give it a rev and she's showing upwards of about 10 pounds, you know, because it is geared a bit quick. The overall gearing's a bit tall. I've got to put a bigger sprocket on the back, slow that down a bit. I haven't really ridden it in this guise. I did ride it the way I had it before, but the front fork still needs some bracing and there's not much in the way of damping. The calipers on the front are off a late model Hinckley style of thing, so there's a ton of caliper up front. Just a pair of TT Triumph headers, and that carburetor, like I said, the first incarnation used a carburetor off like a Sportster or something, you know, them CV carbs that they use, the Kians or whatever they are, and this is actually a Bing. Now, I've got another little supercharged pre-unit thing going on, which might be a couple of months away yet, but it's getting closer, and I've had a pair of these Bings. So I just put this on before after trying 2 or 3 normal slide carburetors and even drilling holes in the slides and all this sort of rubbish. Still couldn't get them to run properly. But this thing fired up and goes like a champion, straight up. So I'll probably lift the needle a smidge and maybe open the main jet out a smidge. And as you can tell, she idled, so the idle jet's fine. And yeah, it seems to operate pretty well. This is the second of 2 supercharged bikes I've got. The first one was that Norton, orange Norton, that's shown on my YouTube channel there. If you're watching this, you'll have seen it at some stage. So I don't know if I'm going to put a speedo on it. If I do, it'll be a GPS style. But yeah, it's, like I say, she's a little bit of a weirdo, but hey, that's what specials are all about. Taking junk and turning it into something. It's a 10 stud engine, but it's a 68 set of cases with a board out and then a 10 bolt head and barrel put on it off a Tiger, 10 bolt Tiger. You can see there's only 1 bolt in there. That barrel is, I don't know why I haven't got the second bolt in there, but it's a short rod motor. Stock conrods actually. The belt drive is by Airco, and then the little belt drive for the supercharger, well, that's just made up to suit with pulleys over the counter at bearing shops and belts over the counter at bearing shops with a little idler bearing in there. But yeah, so, and the gearbox was a 5, but because it won't get ridden bugger all. I pulled it out, use it in something a bit more useful, and just put a fall back in it. So it's all kind of funky, but that's what you do when you get a $10 bloody oil-in frame that nobody wants. You build yourself a nice looking special. Anyway, thanks for watching.